Welcome to the lab class of cold flotation. There are two aims defined in this experiment. The first one is to study the effect of time on cold flotation. The second one is to study the effect of variation of collector dosage on cold flotation. A brief theory part is given here because the two main reagents that are used in cold flotation are frothers and collectors. Frothers are added to stabilize the bubble formation in the pulp phase to create a reasonably stable froth to allow selective drainage from the froth of entrained gangue and to increase flotation kinetics. Frothing action is thus due to the ability of frother to adsorb on the air-water interface because of its surface activity and to reduce the surface tension, thus stabilizing the air bubble. Okay, so that's all about frothers. So these are the reagents that stabilize the air bubble by reducing their surface tension, and their job is to ensure that the particles that are getting attached to the air bubble is carried to the top and finally separated in the froth section. Second reagent here is the collector. So collectors are organic compounds which render selected minerals water repellent by adsorption of molecules or ions on the mineral surface, reducing the stability of hydrated layer, separating the mineral surface from air bubble to such a level that the attachment of particle to the bubble can be made on contact. So that means these are the compounds that will selectively adsorb on the mineral surface and make those surface hydrophobic. So by doing so, they are actually making the hydrated layer, which was earlier hydrated with water, unstable, so that as soon as this hydrophobic particle comes in contact with the air bubble, it makes contact immediately. It gets attached immediately upon interaction because it is a very random action going on there inside the flotation cell. So the contact time is a fraction of second. So within that fraction of second, the particle has to attach itself to the air bubble. So that's the job of collector. Now these are the material requirements for flotation experiment. You need a flotation cell, you need coal, which should be essentially finer than 5 millimeter, 0.5 millimeter, that is 500 micrometer. And we prepare a pulp which is 10% solids by weight. That means out of, suppose we are preparing 100 grams slurry. So 90 grams should be water, that is 90%, and 10 grams should be your solid, that is coal in this case. So if we are preparing a slurry with, let's say, 300 grams of solid or coal, then we will require 2700 grams of water. 2700 grams will be equal to 2700 ml of water. Then we require diesel oil, that is collector, mine oil, that is frother. We require measuring cylinder for measuring the required amount of water. Then we require tap water, of course, normal water, general water is taken here. Trace to collect the froth, vacuum filter to filter the froth, then filter paper that is used on the vacuum filter through which the water will drain. Then wash water bottle, because you have to wash certain things through trays or here and there. So wash bottle is required. Air oven to dry the filtered froth. Then muffle furnace for ash analysis. Balance to measure the weights. Desiccator so that the moisture is not absorbed again when you are taking out the material from the furnace. So the procedure is given for the first aim. You have to take the sample about 300 grams. You have to make a slurry, 10% solids by weight. So 300 grams of coal and 2700 grams of water. And you will take to make the slurry. Then you prepare the slurry separately. Then you feed it to flotation cell, or you prepare the slurry within the flotation cell. Both can be done. Then you allow the machine to operate for a few minutes so that the particles are completely mixed with water. Then you add collector. The dosage given here is 1 kg per ton. So accordingly, depending on the mass of the solid that you are taking here, you'll measure, and accordingly you'll measure the amount of collector that is required to match this dosage, and you condition it for 5 minutes. This conditioning is actually done to ensure that the collector is getting adsorbed on the mineral surface. In this case, that is coal. Then you give conditioning time. After that, you add frother. You give it some time so that the frother is completely dispersed in the medium. Then after that, you open the air valve, and as soon as you open the air valve, you will observe that the froth has started forming. Then the froth will start forming, it will rise to the top, then it will start reporting in the froth section. So you collect the froth at the intervals of 5 seconds, 10, 15. So this is continuous process. After 5, another 5 seconds, then another 5 seconds. So like that you're collecting the froth. Then you collect this froth, then you filter the collected froth and leftover tailings. This is done using vacuum filter, and then they are dried in the air oven. Then you take the weight of the dry solids. Then after that you take out 1 gram of sample for ash analysis from each of the products. Okay, so that is following standard sampling procedure. After you have taken that 1 gram of sample, then you do the ash analysis. That is also done using following standard procedure for ash analysis in the oven, in the furnace at 800 degrees centigrade. Okay, so then you take the readings. Similarly, this is the procedure for second aim. So you'll follow the most of the things are similar, but you can see the collector dosage here is changed to 0.5 kg per ton. Okay, and later it changes to 0.75, then 1 kg per ton. So here see 3 separate experiments are performed. Unlike the previous experiments, you are collecting whatever froth is coming in the process. So for the first experiment, you will collect froth for this dosage. Then for second experiment, this is your dosage, so you'll collect the second froth, that is froth 2. And for the third experiment, you'll collect the froth 3. All the froths that are collected here, 3 froths and 3 corresponding tailings that is left in the flotation cell. So you'll collect the froth, filter them, dry in the air one, and you will follow the similar procedure of sampling and ash analysis to get the readings. So after the readings, you will prepare the reports. Now let's take a look at the flotation cell that is available in our laboratory. So this is a laboratory flotation cell, and you can see various parts here. So this is your motor, this is a pulley, this is also a pulley, this is the belt that is connected with this pulley that is connected to the agitator here in this part. And so this is your belt pulley combination. Okay, this is your drive motor. This handle that you can observe here, this handle, you can hold it from here, and it is used to just turn this device so that this agitator dips into the flotation in this chamber, you can say, or tank, or you can say cell. This is your agitator part, and you can see it has got a different design that ensures that the proper mixing is there in within this bulb, and whatever air bubbles are generated, they are also distributed uniformly within this cell. This is the air valve. Okay, because for generation of air bubble you need air, so this agitator sucks the air automatically and the air bubbles are generated here. The froth that is generated, that is collected from this part. Okay, you will place a tray here and you will collect the froth. Okay, so let's see how the experiment is done step by step. So I have actually placed all the samples for which I am going to perform the flotation experiment. Here this is your target, this is your sample, coal sample. So on this sample you will perform the experiment, and these are all the reagents that are required. So for coal you require diesel oil, you require pine oil. So these two are just required here. Okay. So you can see this is your pine oil that will be used, and this is your diesel oil. This is your diesel oil. It both contains a diesel oil only. Now you can see this operator is turning the device so that the agitator dips in the cell. So after that you will leave it. Then you will feed the coal sample into the cell. After feeding the sample, you will mix the whole sample by turning on the machine. So you can see it is agitating, and because of agitation some of the sample is spilling out. That is just because of the circular motion here. Then you will add, after some time when the material is completely mixed, you will add some amount of collector. We are adding here just for demonstration purpose, but when you are performing actual experiments you have to measure the amount that is supposed to be added here with the help of some pipette, micro pipette. Then you have to perform the experiment. After adding the collector, you let the device run for some time. So that is called as conditioning time. So after the conditioning time, you will add some amount of froth. Okay, so after that you let it run for some time. So you can see automatically some froth has started accumulating here. That is just because of the agitation that is generated in the cell. Then you turned on the air valve. Okay, so you can see froth has started forming, and the formed froth has started coming out of the channel. So excess froth you can take out with the help of scraper. So you'll collect froth initially for initial 5 seconds. Then you'll take another tray, you'll collect froth again for next 5 seconds. Then we'll take third set of froth. Okay, you can see as the material is coming out, the froth formation here is reduced. Why? Because the froth in the cell has actually reported in the form, whatever frothing agent was there, it is consumed. So no more froth is being formed. Okay. So whatever was formed, it has already been taken out. So these are your final samples collected. There's froth 1, froth 2, froth 3. Okay, so this is this thing I explained you with reference to the first aim. For the second aim, what you will do is, in the same way you will operate the device and you will collect all the froth that is coming out without consideration of the time interval, or you will collect for continuously for 30 seconds. So similar way you will get 3 products in 3 separate experiments. So these will be 3 froths for the second aim. And the tailing that is there in the tank, you will filter it separately by draining it initially, then filtering with the filter paper and vacuum filter. Then after everything is dried, you will take the weights, then you sample it, you will take 1 gram of material, you will do the ash analysis, then you will prepare the report. So for the first aim, this is how your report preparation will look like. You'll write everything starting from the aim, theory, materials required, then procedure, then this will be your results and discussion part. Okay, so this will be part of the report. So you can see the collector dosage initially is fixed. You are doing with respect to time. So 5, 10, 15, these are the time intervals, and these are the ash content that we got for the froths that was collected. Okay. For tailing it will be relatively high, so you can see it is high, it has been shown here. You can plot a graph also, so time will be on the x-axis, your ash content will be on the y-axis, so this is how your graph will look like. So you can see with increase in time your ash content is also increasing because the quality material has initially reported in the froth section. Then little lesser, the quality will go on decreasing as the time increases. Then this is how the report will look like for the second aim. So here collector dosage is changing. The time interval you can set to 30 seconds. So the ash content for the first experiment, you can see it is approximately 22% ash. Ash of the reject is this one. We have considered that the feed ash is 35%. For the second experiment, collector dosage is increased to 7.75. Your ash content of the clean coal increases to this, and reject ash decreases to this. For the type of experiment, similarly, your further ash content increases. So why this is increasing, you have to think and write in the discussion part. Okay, so further you can plot a graph in this case also. So collector dosage will be on the x-axis, ash will be on the y-axis, and this is how the trend will look like. Okay, so the experiments where you are plotting a graph and you are seeing the effect of one variable with respect to another, there you write some kind of conclusion. Results will not be there because you are not estimating anything. You are seeing the effect of variable change in the variables. Okay, so here you will write conclusions.